episode blah 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 blah. Episode number blah blah. No. Conversations with Alden. All right. So we are going to talk about your acting days.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, it was in the late '60s, and let's see. Oh, I told you about going to New York and trying to get some education there. At this point, I had been working as an art teacher at summer camps and free schools. And the particular free school that I was working at was the Study Travel Community School in the Berkshires. It wasn't in Beckett, but someplace around the southern Berkshires. And I was on the faculty. What we do would be to collect the tuition for the campers or the kids or students, whatever, and then sit around and they decide what they wanted to do with it. You know, if they wanted to use it to go to France, or if they wanted to buy themselves some time or whatever. So we were kind of dawdling around the front lawn of the place one day when this tall guy in a big Suzuki 750 comes up, you know, looking very dashing, and everyone's curious because we're bored with each other, so we wanted to see what this new guy is up to.
Yeah.
And he was asking us or starting a conversation about commitment and dedication and, you know, some kind of philosophical issues. And he must have approved of the response that he got, because the next message that we got was to meet at the gates of Tanglewood at a certain time and date. Do you know what Tanglewood is? A concert venue in the Berkshires. It's the summer home of Boston Pop. So it's a very civilized place. People bring their blankets and picnic lunches and dine on the lawn while the music is coming out of the shed, which is, you know, like just a building with walls that open up.
Yeah.
So at the appointed time, I forgot how many other, there may have been a half dozen altogether, but there were several volunteers who showed up for, we have no idea what.
Right.
But, you know, it was the 60s, what the hell.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. The guy shows up at the motorcycle and some other people in a car. So we followed them out to this big rock quarry where there's a sheer granite face, you know, that people use for climbing sometimes. Okay. Rock quarry.
You're at the rock quarry. What are you supposed to do there?
Well, that's when the direct I'm not sure if the director showed up at that point or if he came on a little bit early or a little bit later. But what we were told to do was to pick some of the greenery around it and camouflage ourselves, you know. So we got all this greenery and pinned it to our clothing. And I'm not sure who would have been fooled, but you know,
Right.
it was the intention that counted. So this guy's story, he had a couple of women with him. One of them had a shaved head, which was very unusual for the time, and they had a whole backstory about that. Supposedly, they had been in South America with the Tupamaros, who I I forgot which country they're from, but see anything?
Those are Uruguay.
Huh?
Uruguay.
Oh, okay.
Tupamaros National Liberation Movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was saying that what they did there when they wanted to achieve some some social benefit, you know, say that the local mine workers were being underpaid. Uh, they oh do something like hold one of their properties hostage and say that it was going to be destroyed unless they complied with the request of the Liberation Army.
Oh,
Uh,
how did that translate into somebody's shaved head?
Pardon?
How did that translate into her shaved head?
And to her,
Shaved head.
oh, I don't know. They had a story, something about she had inadvertently violated a taboo or something, you know.
Uh,
They had a whole story about it. I don't.
so they did. It was something that was done to her, not something that she did.
Yeah, it didn't seem to entirely make sense, but
Who knows?
yeah, we weren't we
Yeah.
weren't fussy.
So you're at the quarry and you have branches and stuff on
Yeah.
you. And then what?
Well, let's see. The director is there, and he's talking about scenes. We're looking off at the sheer cliff, and and he says that the film will be introduced by uh, panning toward the top of this cliff, where it looks like there are three crucified men. You see the profile of the three guys with their arms out.
Like Golgotha.
Hmm?
Golgotha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you pan in closer, it turns out that instead of being crucified, that they're carrying these um, surface-to-air missiles.
Interesting.
There's kind of anti-helicopter weapons.
Ah, okay.
Oh well, this is raising the ante.
Yeah. Are they actually going to blow something up?
Well, I I I don't know whether they were loaded or not. We didn't try them out to find out, but just the idea was enough to
Yeah.
get everyone overexcited. Yes. So, let's see, did we do all?
What was your part? What was your part in the movie? What were you guys supposed to do?
Put on camouflage and pretend to be gorillas. We were the story was that we were the North American version of the Tupamaros that we were in.
Oh.
And since we were in the belly of the beast, in the middle of the repressive state, there were plenty of targets to go after. I'll fast forward. The whole crew ended up at a farm in the Connecticut Valley, a little bit north of Hartford. There's fields, there's woods, there's a farmhouse that we're told is a safe house for the weather underground. You remember them? You know what they were up to?
No.
Oh.
Just says it's a weather service. On Slick.
Weather underground?
It's telling me it's just weather. Oh, bombings. FBI radical weather underground launched a bombing campaign across the U.S.
Yes, they were.
Related to political violence in the 60s.
Yeah, they were rude. There's on 11th Street in New York. There's a place where a building used to be that got blown up. They didn't reconstruct it. They just leveled it, and it's a neighborhood park now that they refer to as Weatherman Park.
Interesting. Okay. So you're in a farmhouse in the middle of Connecticut?
Pardon?
You're in a farmhouse in Connecticut?
Yeah, we went out to do some shooting in a quarry. No, not in a quarry, down in the woods. And I think we still had our camouflage on. And the director was saying that his original plans had been to have the gorillas standing around, and he was planning to pan in on their feet, because supposedly the men would have conspicuously larger feet, and the women could be identified with their smaller feet. Well, we had some Bigfoot women.
Okay.
So he said, well, why don't you open your shirts and stuff so that we could. I think that's where he was going all the time. But
yeah.
In retrospect, so we're all hanging around in a state of undress. Let's see.
This is why I thought you were talking about porn. Remember when you brought this story up again? I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was one makeout scene between me and the lady of the house who was hosting the event, which was, no worse than most high school dates.
Yeah. So, not really porn,
Yeah.
but.
No.
Yeah.
But probably enough to get it R-rated.
Yeah.
The director's first name was Christiane. And I did some research on him. it was hard to do because all of the research material is in French, and my French it isn't that great.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe how many people are named Christiane or Christian. You know,
Right.
this is this is the West. That's a common name.
Yeah.
But I found that he was an actual person, a filmmaker, and one that he had done in France was about some sheep farmers who were not getting enough for their mutton, and they marched the whole flock of sheep into the town square and made a big scene there. And I think that they were just looking for more money for their product anyway. That they had a successful event, and I think that that's where Christiane got started on this notion, and then expanded it. You know about the movie The Battle of Algiers?
No.
You were not a troublemaker.
No. Well, that was before I was born, actually. Came out in 1954 to 7.
Yeah.
That was the battle was.
Yeah.
The drama came out in 1966, so I was only 3.
Oh, yeah. There was a good movie made of it.
Paratrooper Commander Colonel Mathieu, a former French resistance fighter during World War II, is sent to 1950s Algeria to reinforce efforts to squelch the uprisings of the Algerian War.
Yeah, it was kind of the beginning of a lot of the unrest and rebellion of that period.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the foundational pieces of work of the cinema militant, which was a whole French school of filmmakers who were trying to advance social revolutionary causes through film.
Huh.
One of the stories that the director spun, and he was good at stories, was that at some point when they premiered this in New York, that we were all going to be there, and in the last scene of the film, you'd have a theater where there's some revolutionaries mixed in with the regular crowd, and then they leave and, you know, just become part of New York, disappear into the population.
Huh.
I thought that sounded like a good scene. We never got to make that one. We didn't get that far, but it was fun to think about.
Yeah. Interesting. So how did it come to an end before it was finished? What happened?
I guess he got enough footage.
And he just said, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that crew moved on to whatever their next adventure was. And when I looked it up, I couldn't see any indication that he had actually finished this film.
Did it have a name?
No.
Okay, so it'd be really hard to see. Yeah.
I just have to work backward and see if I can find out the actual name for this guy look into his filmography and see what.
Yeah, I tried looking up first name filmmaker 1960s, but it just gave me Christian films, you know, like God, Christian.
Yeah, that's what I was running.
That's not helpful. I'm gonna have to watch this Battle of Algiers. It says it's filmed similar to a documentary. It has
Yeah,
a documentary feel to it. I'll link the trailer to this just so people can see. Then they can watch it if they want. And it's English subtitles.
oh yeah.
I'll have to watch that. Maybe I'll do that because I'm going to work on that shirt that I'm making later tonight. So maybe I'll watch that while I do it. Looks interesting.
Who's the shirt for?
Me. Want to see it? So I picked this up at Goodwill.
Oh, I couldn't tell. At first, I thought it was smaller. I thought it was for one of the kids.
No, it's for me. So I just drew all over it. So I'm going to work on that tonight. After I go to the studio today, I'm really trying to kind of get back into the groove of being productive
Yes.
in some way. Yeah, it's a struggle, man. I'm having a hard time.
How's your body doing? What's up?
My body's great. It's fine. Yeah, it's just up here that's
Oh,
just trying to get it going. And it's just a struggle right now. But I guess that's perfectly normal. I mean, post anesthesia, post surgery, I was doing some reading online, and there's people that said that they just kind of struggled for like a year. Which I'm hoping it doesn't take that long.
I don't think I ever got my full memory back.
Really?
I think I lost memory from anesthesia.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily for me, physically, everything's healed up. I mean, it healed up really fast. And I was able to do stuff in rehab they were really surprised. Just stuck in this flat place. And that is so not me. You know me. I'm just so. But it's getting better because I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to do. But yeah, I don't like it. I like being excited about stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to talk about next time?
I haven't thought that far ahead.
All right, we'll be thinking about it because now we've covered you as an actor, you as an insurance investigator, you as I don't know, we've covered quite a few different things. So
Yeah.
you have done many, many things in your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Working at the mental hospital was interesting.
Maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah, I worked in one of these old Gothic state hospitals.
Yeah.
One that was closed down in the 70s or so, in that wave of reaction to institutional mental health.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about that next time then. That'll be a good one.
Okay.
All right. So be thinking about it, and we will say goodbye for now. But I will talk to you again soon.
Thank you much, Karen. Have a good day.
You too.